The average first-time buyer in 2026 is losing $47,000 in avoidable mistakes. Not over a lifetime, on a single purchase. I know that sounds extreme, but when you add up overpaying because you skipped one simple step, bleeding money on the wrong loan product, and the silent killer that is mistake number 7, which I promise you your lender is not going to warn you about, it's not even hard to get there. Most people have no idea how much they left on the table until years later when it's too late to fix. Here's the thing. We're heading into spring buying season right now with rates hovering around 6% and inventory higher than it's been in 3 years. That means more opportunity, yes, but it also means more ways to make an expensive decision look like a smart one in the moment. Every single one of these 10 mistakes is happening right now in this market, and we're going to walk you through them from the one that hits you before you even tour a house, all the way to the one that quietly costs you for the next 30 years. Sellers, don't leave. Understanding what today's buyers get wrong is exactly how you position your home to close faster and for more money. Investors, this is your cheat sheet for spotting deals other people fumble. And if you stick around until the very end, I've got a bonus tip that most people won't hear until after they've already closed. It's the one move that can save you hundreds of dollars a month on a mortgage you already have. Let's go. Mistake number 10. Shopping for houses before shopping for a lender. Most first-time buyers start by scrolling Zillow. That feels productive, but it's backwards. The very first thing you should do before you look at a single listing is get pre-approved. Not pre-qualified, pre-approved. There's a huge difference. Pre-qualification is a guess. A lender glances at what you tell them and gives you a ballpark. Pre-approval means they've pulled your credit, verified your income and assets, and issued a letter saying they will actually lend you a specific amount. In this market, sellers are getting offers from buyers with full pre-approval letters. If you show up with a pre-qualification, you are losing to those people every single time. But here's the part most people miss. You should be getting pre-approved by at least 3 different lenders. Rates right now are averaging around 6% on a 30-year fixed, but the spread between lenders can be a quarter to half a point. On a $400,000 loan, that difference is over $40,000 in interest over the life of the loan. That's real money you're handing away because you didn't make 3 phone calls. That's the warm-up. The mistakes get more expensive from here, and number 7 is the one that made us want to make this video in the first place. But first, mistake number 9, draining your savings for the down payment. We see this constantly. Someone scrapes together every dollar they have to hit 20% down because they heard that's what you're supposed to do. Then 2 months after closing, the water heater dies and they're putting it on a credit card and 22% interest. Putting 20% down is great if you can do it and still have reserves. But in 2026, there are FHA loans at 3.5% down, conventional loans at 3%, and VA loans at 0 if you're eligible. There are also over 2,000 down payment assistance programs active across the country right now. Some of them are grants, free money, and most first-time buyers have no idea they exist. The smarter move is to put down enough to get a payment you're comfortable with while keeping 3 to 6 months of expenses in the bank. A house will find ways to take your money. Budget for that. Mistake number 8, ignoring the true cost of the loan. Everyone obsesses over the interest rate. And yeah, the rate matters, but it's not the whole picture. What most first-time buyers don't realize is that 2 loans with the same rate can cost you wildly different amounts. The real number you need to compare is the APR, the annual percentage rate. That folds in origination fees, discount points, mortgage insurance, and closing costs. One lender might quote you 5.87% but charge you $12,000 in fees. Another quotes 6% with $4,000 in fees. The second loan is cheaper even though the rate is higher. If you're only comparing rates, you're getting played. Ask every lender for a loan estimate. It's a standardized 3-page form. Compare page 2 line by line. This alone can save you $5,000 to $10,000. All right, quick gut check. If you're finding this useful, do us a favor and hit subscribe. We make videos like this every week breaking down the real numbers behind the housing market. No fluff, no hype, and we're about to get into the mistakes that cost the most money. So let's keep going. Mistake number 7. not understanding how your loan actually works. This is the one. This is why we made this video. Most first-time buyers sign a 30-year mortgage and think they understand it. You borrow money, you make payments, you own the house in 30 years. Simple. But here's what almost nobody explains to you. For the first 7 to 10 years of a standard 30-year mortgage, the overwhelming majority of your monthly payment goes to interest, not principal. Let me make this real. Say you buy a house for $400,000 with 5% down. So you're financing $380,000 at 6% on a 30-year fixed. Your monthly payment on principal and interest is about $2,278. Sounds straightforward, but in month one, $1,900 of that goes to interest. $378 goes to paying down your loan. You're paying $2,200 a month, and only $378 is actually building equity. After 5 full years of on-time payments, 60 months, you've paid over $136,000 total, but your loan balance has only dropped by about $25,000. You paid $136,000. You got $25,000 in equity. The other $111,000 went straight to the bank. Now, here's where this becomes a crisis in this market specifically. Home price appreciation nationally has slowed to under 1%. In parts of Florida, Colorado, and Utah, prices are actually declining. That means you can't count on the house going up in value to bail you out the way buyers could in 2021 or 22. If you sell in 3 to 5 years after paying a real estate commission and closing costs, you could literally bring money to the closing table instead of walking away with a profit. You could owe money to sell your own house. Your lender will never frame it this way. They'll show you the monthly payment and ask if it's in your budget. They will not sit you down and explain that you're going to pay over $440,000 in total interest over the life of this loan. And that in the early years, you're essentially renting from the bank while also being responsible for every repair. What should you do about it? 3 things. First, understand that a house is only a good financial move if you're staying at least 5 to 7 years. If there's any chance you move sooner, run the math before you buy. Second, even one extra payment a year toward principal can save you tens of thousands and cut years off your loan. Third, don't confuse a monthly payment you can afford with a deal that makes financial sense. They're not the same thing. The right thing there is the mistake that quietly cost people for decades. All right, let's get into the rest. These next 3 are about the buying process itself. Mistake number 6, waiving the home inspection to win the offer. During the 2021 and 22 frenzy, buyers were waiving inspections left and right, and some of them are paying for it now. Literally. Foundation problems, bad roofs, mold behind the walls, $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 surprises. In today's market, you have more leverage. Inventory is up almost 8% year over year nationally. 62% of buyers last year received a discount off the list price. You are not in a position where you need to waive protection to compete. A home inspection costs $300 to $500. Skipping it to save a deal could cost you your entire emergency fund. Never waive the inspection. If a seller won't accept an offer with an inspection contingency, that itself should tell you something. Mistake number 5, forgetting about closing costs. Your down payment is not the only cash you need at closing. First-time buyers consistently underestimate closing costs, and it catches them off guard at the worst possible moment. Closing costs typically run 2 to 5% of the purchase price. On a $400,000 home, that's $8,000 to $20,000 on top of your down payment. That includes lender fees, title insurance, appraisal, escrow, recording fees, and prepaid property taxes and homeowners insurance. The fix is simple. Ask your lender for a detailed closing cost estimate on day 1. Budget for it just like you budgeted for the down payment. And in this market, don't be afraid to negotiate seller concessions. Sellers are more willing to contribute to closing costs than they've been in years. Mistake number 4, buying at the top of your budget. Just because the bank says you can borrow $450,000 doesn't mean you should. That pre-approval amount is the maximum the lender thinks you can technically afford based on your debt-to-income ratio. It doesn't factor in your lifestyle, your other financial goals, your actual comfort level, or the things that aren't in the mortgage payment. Your mortgage payment is principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. But home ownership also means maintenance. Budget 1 to 2% of the home's value per year, plus utilities, HOA fees if applicable, and the random stuff that breaks. If you're maxed out on your mortgage, you have zero margin for any of this. The result is what we call house poor. You own a beautiful home, and you can't afford to live in it. A safer target is keeping your total housing cost, everything, not just the mortgage, below 28% of your gross monthly income. That gives you room to breathe. Mistake number 3, making big financial moves during the process. This one kills deals and nobody sees it coming. You get pre-approved, you find the house, you're under contract, and then you go buy a car. Or you open a new credit card. Or you move money between accounts, and suddenly your lender calls and says, "There's a problem." From the moment you apply for a mortgage until the day you close, your lender is monitoring your credit and your finances. Any major change, new debt, large deposits, a job switch, even co-signing someone else's loan can blow up your approval. We've seen buyers lose their dream home 3 days before closing because they financed furniture. The rule is dead simple. Don't change anything financially between pre-approval and closing. Don't open new credit, don't close old credit, don't make large cash deposits without a paper trail, don't switch jobs, be boring. Be financially boring until you have those keys in your hand. Mistake number 2, letting emotions drive the biggest financial decision of your life. You walk into a house and it has the kitchen you've been dreaming about. The backyard is perfect. You can picture your life there. And suddenly, you don't care what the inspection says. You don't care that it's $15,000 over your budget, and you're writing an offer on the spot. We get it. Buying a home is emotional. It should be. But emotion without a framework is how you overpay, skip due diligence, and end up with buyer's remorse. The fix isn't to remove emotion. It's to have your non-negotiables written down before you even start touring. Maximum price, must-have features versus nice-to-haves, deal-breaker inspection items. When you feel the pull, you check the list. The list doesn't have feelings. That's the point. Sellers, pay attention. This is exactly why staging and first impressions matter so much. You're not just selling a house. You're selling a feeling. The buyers who make emotional decisions are the ones who pay the most and negotiate the least. Your job is to make them feel something the moment they walk through the door. Mistake number 1, not having a trusted agent who actually represents you. With the recent changes to how real estate commissions work, there's been a massive amount of confusion. Some buyers think they don't need an agent anymore. Others think they'll save money by going directly to the listing agent. Both of those ideas can backfire in a big way. The listing agent works for the seller. Their job is to get the seller the highest price with the best terms. If you call the listing agent directly, you are negotiating against yourself with someone who has a legal obligation to the other side of the deal. You need your own representation, a buyer's agent who is legally obligated to look out for your interests. A great buyer's agent will tell you when a house is overpriced, catch red flags in the disclosures, negotiate repairs, and guide you through the contract. A bad one will just unlock doors and hope you close. Interview at least 2 or 3 agents. Ask them how many buyers they've represented in the last 12 months, how they handle multiple offer situations, and what happens if you want to see a home listed by their own brokerage. Their answer will tell you everything. Bonus tip: the rate you close with is not the rate you're stuck with. All right, you stayed until the end. Here's the bonus I promised, and honestly, this might be the most valuable thing in the entire video. A lot of first-time buyers in 2026 are paralyzed because they think rates need to drop to 5% or lower before buying makes sense. So they wait. And while they wait, home prices keep moving. Inventory shifts, and the house they wanted sells to somebody else. Here's what they don't understand. You are not married to your mortgage rate. Refinancing exists. The rate you close with today is a starting point, not a life sentence. If you buy now at 6% and rates drop to 5% next year or the year after, you refinance. Your payment drops, your total interest drops, and you've been building equity and living in the home the entire time you would have spent waiting. Right now, there are already over 5 million homeowners who are eligible to refinance because rates have come down enough from their peaks. Those are people who bought at 6.5%, 7%, even 7.5% and can now lock in something lower. The saying in real estate is, date the rate, marry the house. And it's true, but only if you buy a house you can comfortably afford at today's rate. Don't buy betting on refinance. Buy knowing that if rates improve, you have an exit ramp to a better deal. That's the difference between a gamble and a strategy. Let me leave you with this. The housing market in 2026 is actually favorable for first-time buyers in ways it hasn't been since before the pandemic. Rates have come down from their peaks. Inventory is climbing. Sellers are negotiating again. Price growth has essentially flattened. The conditions are there. But conditions don't protect you from the 10 mistakes we just covered. The market being better doesn't matter if you're overpaying for the wrong loan, draining your savings, skipping inspections, or not understanding how your own mortgage works. If this video saved you from even one of these mistakes, share it with someone who's thinking about buying. Seriously, send it to your friend, your sibling, whoever's been talking about getting into the market. These are the things nobody tells you until it's too late. And now you know. If you want to go deeper on any of these, FHA versus conventional loans, how to negotiate in this market, what's actually happening with rates, we cover all of it on this channel. Hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one. I'll see you in the next video.